And the story about what you know of war crimes, if you remember the Iraq War, Saddam was lynched for what I have accused Barack Obama and Joe Biden of. For during their false employment where they spit in food, refusing me justice, claiming it's not treason, claiming they did not witness gang initiations, conduct sex offense acts, claiming they were legally spying as politicians that are guilty of treason. It's a sex offense then. For all of those presidents during the United States, the people of Iraq got together and they lynched Saddam. I've requested allied nations give me a war trial of Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and their vice presidents, which what Joe Biden was once. And I asked this on YouTube. For in Saddam's war, Joe Biden and Barack Obama are as guilty of illegal employment as Saddam. For they allow those judges to claim they would have had to have shot me to have been a terrorist instead of they sit there and spit food that they gang initiated, refuse me justice in court by summoning me to it. They refuse me rape justice on camera. They claim I have to prove it to you, but I'm going to ask allied nations come over here and give me a war trial of current and former presidents. For if married children died, and it was the incompetence of them, and I find like in Iraq, that's our one political movement, like tearing down there a Berlin Wall. And they killed Saddam because Saddam should have used his power to save my grandmother married children. So I was laced by minorities claiming they were in the CIA, by civilians claiming they're federal police at Brockton VA Medical Center and the James H. Quillen. Stalked by them as sex offenses, they were so incompetent that when that happened in Iraq, the people of Iraq got together and they lynched Saddam Hussein on television in a war trial gifted to them with the condolences of the United States that that's how Saddam died, for his illegal political employment that was the one symbol of the people that you're not allowed to sit there in that $400,000 a year politically employable as a lap band job where all you're not allowed to do is refuse me justice of a gang-initiated state or locality employee who was so special need they accidentally gang-initiated on camera, claiming the equivalent is they accidentally spit in my food while working at McDonald's in their armed uniform or not. And I have it on dash camera. I was illegally imprisoned, refused a copy of it, and I asked foreign nations to come over here with any intel they have and just give me rape justice. Remove the sex offenders who drove around in Ubers in Washington County, Tennessee to take me to vandalism that they had planned, they said, with politicians. Because if the Tennessee governor is guilty of it, I'll have him in a separate war trial. If that Washington County senator is guilty of it, I'll have him in a separate war trial. I'm going to ask, as my political message as a coal baron's son, for my presidential or political message, for my Purpose of Implanted People, LLC, that we have a war trial of the commanders-in-chief who were politically elected to civilian lead the United States military. And if they are guilty of refusing me justice against illegally employed state or locality employees, I witnessed gang initiate at Justin Mullins, stalking us, using my surveillance of me to incite violence as what they called a hate crime. I will have a war trial from the allied nations that I hope brings communist nations to help me invade, to free the allied nations from them that have refused me rape justice on dash camera and has sex offenders in nightclub rings stalking me, and illegally employed CIA supporters of Barack Obama and Joe Biden and the Tennessee governor and the Tennessee senator. A war trial, I ask that if they are so guilty of all these things, I have the opportunity to review it all in public and decide if, like Saddam was lynched in Iraq by the people with the condolences of the United States at the time, that this is what you are guilty of, that you face treason death charges for your sex offender looking at me on my phone claiming you are allowed to for you are politically elected by your family like a puppet doll. You sicken me. You sicken me. You sicken me. If I'm not given justice, soon I will be killed in the United States of America by sex offenders. While if I was president of the United States of America, would have already used the state's National Guard to remove the Washington County, Tennessee district attorney who says I talk about him too much, where he conducted gang initiations with sex offenders in the courtroom armed, while I was illegally in prison, saying Joe Biden allowed him to do that to me. I hope you are punished, Joe Biden. I hope you suffer, and I hope you have no money for your how long, Joe Biden? 12 years of vice or full-term presidency of the United States of America. I demand justice. $27,000 to social media that I reported to the CIA. Joe Biden is at a war threat of an invasion to free the United States from accidental spitting politicians like Joe Biden, the Tennessee governor, the Tennessee senator that lived in Washington County, Tennessee, where he hides in a bunker claiming Washington County wants him to live with the New Beginnings employees. Or the traffic court leg smacking employees into morbidly obese ambulance driving woman who smacks her leg. I asked Joe Biden continue to stop endangering my life like he doesn't illegally employed Washington County, Tennessee court employees. That's the Tennessee National Guard in a show of force that we all admit Joe Biden's so wrong that I'm so right. I'm the president of the United States of America if I want as a hobby. I ask, when's the Tennessee National Guard going to give me a war trial of that LGBT Tennessee governor? Because he looks like a pedophile. I'm bisexual as a stripper that only has sex with women as my sexual identity. They dispute this from their surveillance, but I can identify as whatever I want. You're a political threat to me and you're accidental spitting like the district attorney of Washington County, Tennessee. He looks like the people on my social media block list that showed up trespassing claimed they had married children since permission before she died. Claiming you all ain't the ones breaking the law. I hope if Joe Biden lies at all in the news, I hope everyone gets new dash cameras. And that's all he has to have, a CIA large enough to look at all the state and locality dash cameras and body cameras and their cell phones, and especially of their wives. For if they want a restraining order, I'll send the National Guard of the state they live in to take whoever's job needs a restraining order to stay away from whoever they're married to as a state or local employee. Because I swear to God, this is what Saddam Hussein was lynched for in Iraq. Because you accidentally killed Mary Ruth Childress, claiming you thought it was cute. Claiming you thought you were being in a busted paper. I was illegally in prison. You put me in a busted paper. I put you in a potential terror threat paper on the internet. USAA claims they could get my money back and take me to jail for an accidental fire. You're conducting civilian stalking, claiming I'm not a celebrity as your president. Honey, I paid $20-some thousand to advertise myself that you claim you would watch that 500,000 times like I'm singing Barbie Girl to you. Honey, I only have to dial the CIA. I witnessed a gang initiation. And it's treason that Saddam Hussein was lynched for that I demand the Allied Nations investigate if you accidentally offended me enough as if Saddam did, and I demanded he be lynched. I demand Allied Nations invade the United States to remove the President of the United States of America and his Congress and the Washington County, Tennessee supporter of rape harboring, claiming he could cause me a rape disability. And they can allow a dentist to steal my retainer. And they could surveil me and claim they could conduct some type of illegal employment operation and claim I had to be gang initiated with them. But I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try my best to make sure a war trial comes from the current former presidents and all you all religious supporters of them who believe I'm a Satanist and that you're a Christian that could be elected against me. Because this is the one law in allied nations where I'll treat the current and former presidents like Saddam was wearing makeup, laughing, saying that he's not in the allied nations and he has an American passport and he changed his name and he's wearing makeup. Because the media is fake here, not in Iraq, because he's lying to the American people, faking the media about what the Washington County, Tennessee traffic court girls who conduct what is an equivalent false speech lie would claim it's, instead of illegally employed as a law enforcement officer, walking around claiming they're shooting at my insurance score with Geico because they want my VA pension because they said I narked out the New Beginnings employees who drugged me and had someone claim they were CIA attacking me and all my property. With James Hall, Rick Hall, and Brian Lewis, a bunch of sex offenders. So I might as well say the rest of their names like Michael Trivet, Mark, and anyone else that worked there is going to get checked real good, like Kelly Fleming of Dickinson County, who conducts welfare illegal employment fraud, to claim he's not a sex offender who has a civilian, I can't say his name, where he lives in Virginia as a traffic employee or detective now who's illegally employed eyewitness gang initiation. On camera at Food City by him claiming he couldn't see a celebrity without conducting a gang initiation out of his mouth in his pistol uniform he denies. Then don't claim you're sex offending wanting to know why I said your name because you're a nasty little girl who cried in school. You're an ugly skank. Y'all gonna move on. I'm gonna fix the United States right now.